This is my story about the home video industry, created from scrapbooks I had made during that time in the 1980s. Energy, enthusiasm, excellence. This was my embassy mantra. I had the good fortune to be graduating college in May of 1982, and thanks to my neighbor, Carol O'Connor, who played Archie Bunker on All in the Family, I was able to get an interview with Norman Lear and Jerry Perencio's newly formed company. It was a television and film company called Embassy Communications. They had just bought Avico Embassy Pictures in January of 1982 for $25 million. Imagine that. So little in those days. They dropped off the name Avco and changed the name of their own TV company, which was TAT Communications, to Embassy Television, and TAT Communications Company to Embassy Communications. I started as the online courier that delivered all the interoffice mail. It's just like the old Hollywood tale. I started in the mailroom. Yep, I guess I did. At the time, Embassy had multiple locations. They rented space on the Universal Studios lot where I worked, but also had a location at Sunset Gower Studios and one in Century City. I got to meet everyone running around the studio all day long. And back then, everyone had their own secretary, and they would leave me treats in the outboxes because I was running around so much. The bungalows where the writers worked, those were my favorite stops. I loved to hang out with Bob Schiller and Bob Weisskopf, who were writers back in the day for I Love Lucy. They were my heroes, and they used to kid me that I was their only fan. I was able to work as a photographer on the Embassy magazine. It was an in-house magazine created so the various locations could feel more like a family. For one issue, I was assigned to visit the Embassy Pictures division. Mark Hirschfeld, who was one of the casting directors, helped me set up all these goofy shots so we could get all these different people to participate who worked at the studio. We had so much fun, as you can see, making fun of all the different movie posters, and it was just a blast. It was one of my favorite things I got to do, and it was just a volunteer thing. That's what Embassy was all about. It just was always letting people participate in things because everyone really wanted to be something else, and I wanted to be a photographer at the time. I even got to take Norman Lear's photo for the magazine, and naturally I had to ask if I could have my photo taken with him. The company had mixers so you could meet the other employees. It really was the best job ever. They had screenings for the employees on Saturday mornings. They had these amazing holiday parties. The one that stuck out was at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, where they transformed it into a winter wonderland with a ice skating rink, and you can see the couriers. We probably had the best time of anyone at that party that night. They also had things like showcases where all the employees could show off their talents, whether it be writing or singing or dancing. They were always trying to encourage all the creativity that everybody had and provided forums to show it off. And I loved when they had the company picnics for families where they'd rent out places like Big Rock Ranch up in Malibu. And one of the special events is they hosted a mile Hand Across America, and that was a really memorable day, connecting the whole country at the same time. And these were just some of the perks they had. They also had the refrigerators filled and stocked with beverages and food. At the time, the company was producing such network hits as The Jeffersons and One Day at a Time, Different Strokes, The Facts of Life, and during my first year there, they launched a new show, Silver Spoon Square Pegs and Who's the Boss? When Embassy formed their own home video unit called Embassy Home Entertainment in 1982, after they acquired Andre Blay Corporation, I took a position in this unit. I was one of the first 11 employees. Andre had been head of Magnetic Video Corporation, and he was sort of known as the father of home video, and he was appointed as CEO and chair of this new division. His other company had been in Michigan, and he had moved to LA and bought David Niven's house, known as the Pink House, in the beautiful Riviera section of the Pacific Palisades, and we had holiday parties there before he departed the company in 1986. I was able to work my way up the ladder quickly And it was back in a time when you were actually able to do this. You could grow with a company and you could bring ideas and you get rewarded and get promoted, which was great. Originally, we just sold films in VHS and beta formats, but soon we were licensing to new technologies like CEDs, high-density disc, Philips Laserdisc, and 8mm formats. And then we started making titles available using closed captioning technology as well. It really was the tech boom of the entertainment industry. We had our own language like every industry. Order close was the big day when we took all the advance orders from distributors, and they got delivered to retailers on what was called the street date. In 1984, we sold the most copies of any movie to date. It was Silkwood, and the whole company got to be taken out for a fancy dinner. Another 1984 milestone was that the video station now had 500 stores, the mom and pop stores were being gobbled up and disappearing, and the Betamax had sort of hit its peak. As with every new industry, a trade show group comes along to create an event everyone must attend. For the home video industry, it was called VSDA, the Video Software Dealers Association. It was like the Comdex of the computer industry now. It was usually in Las Vegas, but once during the 1980s, they held it in Washington, D.C. I always got to go and work the booth. I would help host the celebrities for the PR department. We would have this booth where celebrities would sign autographs for all the video dealers, and occasionally I'd get my picture taken with them too. This is where we pre-sold all our titles that we would have coming out in the fall or Christmas season, and we'd even host events like Christmas in the summer with Santa Claus complete with Christmas trees. It was crazy. I now was in charge of the whole customer service department and soon became head of business development because I like to track new technologies and really was sort of an intercompany entrepreneur thinking up small businesses inside our larger company umbrella. I licensed titles to places like Time Life and Columbia House, who at the time were famous for their mail order and book clubs, and soon they were in the video business too. We made deals with the airlines, and I culled through our catalog of movies and also helped acquire catalogs of films I knew I could find homes for in special markets. Catalogs like the Janus Foreign Film Library allowed me to create gift packs by directors like Akira Kurosawa, for example. Creating direct mail pieces and TV ads soon was a major business for all home video distributors. I had developed a major list and even sold this to other companies. I repackaged titles into 6-pack formats like Victory at Sea and sold them through various veterans organizations. I even got to write the box copy and taglines for the advertising pieces for my special market promotions. It was one of my favorite jobs. Embassy went through a series of changes trying to capture different markets. We tried gift with purchase strategies. My favorite was combining a wok, yes a wok you cook in, with a title called Wok with Yan. It was completely overlooked how much shipping would cost to mail such a large item out with a videotape. We also created a separate division called Charter Entertainment to release some genre films. It even had its own sales force. In 1985, 11 million VCRs were sold in the United States. That meant that almost 30% of American households had one now. It was also a milestone year for our company. In June, we released the movie The Cotton Club with a special anti-copying technology called Macrovision. We were the first company to test this new piracy-preventing technology. We also sold 100,000 copies of the title, which was a really big deal back then. Then, sadly, Norman Lear and Jerry Perenchio sold Embassy to Coca-Cola. They also owned Columbia Pictures at the time. It was amazing, though, how generous Norman was, hand-signing a note to all the employees and providing a special bonus. I actually did a cartwheel down the hall. I was so excited. Everything seemed like it would stay the same. We just basically had to have the Coca-Cola red color on all our promotional pieces now. We had a great office on the 20th floor, which was the top floor of a building known as the Black Box on Avenue of the Stars in Century City. We had fun dressing up as the characters from our home video movies for Halloween, and we would celebrate everyone's birthdays. Oh gosh, we got cakes and balloons delivered. It was pretty unreal. And we also got to go to lots of fun premieres and get dressed up in black tie. It really was a fantastic time to be working in the entertainment industry. There were so many fun perks. I was also able to ride the wave of the implementation of computer technology into the entertainment industry. I helped with the software creation for our inventory and royalty systems, and then trained other companies like CBS Fox on how to use the system that we created. Amazingly, I wrote the first computer software manual for the employees as a layman on how to log in. I even was the hand model in the Wang computer videos. Embassy was next purchased by Nelson Holdings International from Coca-Cola and renamed to Nelson Entertainment on August 15, 1987, and we moved to Beverly Hills from Century City. Our new bosses were now producer Barry Spikings and a businessman from the UK named Richard Northcott. We had a lavish unveiling at the VSDA conference in Las Vegas, including a $10,000 dinner. The whole video market was rapidly changing, and new technologies were coming and going so fast you could snap your fingers. The VHS tape was now allowing people to tape their own favorite TV shows, so the whole advertising industry was also changing. And the portable VHS players were allowing people to create their own movies. If only they had YouTube back then. It was an exciting time to be part of the convergence of technology and entertainment. One of my favorite memories is being on the acquisitions team to get to purchase the film Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure from Dino De Laurentiis Studios, which was going through bankruptcy at the time. We got the film for only $1 million, and then we were able to release it both theatrically and on home video. It was a big hit for us. By this time in the industry, cross-promotions with other brands started happening. We had the first tie-in with a cereal company. 10 million boxes of Cheerios had Bill and Ted on them, and you could redeem a box top for a limited edition DC comic or a t-shirt. We also let General Mills put a 60-second commercial on the video cassette. We even did a watch and win trivia promotion game where you could call a 900 number, which the consumers paid for, and answer a trivia question to win a prize. During the Nelson years, we did a deal with a studio called Hemdale, and one of the big hits during that time was The Last Emperor. It won 9 Academy Awards. Our sales team did a big deal with Qingdao beer, and because you couldn't ship alcohol across some state lines, I ended up with so many cases of beer in my garage. I was really popular at parties there for a while. I was now also the operations director for the company, and since the movie was 3 hours and 39 minutes, we contacted a company called Agra Gewurz and used a pancake tape stock where you were able to cut the tape to that exact size you needed and try and get it all on one cassette tape. We used a tape duplication company called Premier Video in Michigan, and I got to go see the whole process. At the time, this was really seen as revolutionary. We also implemented barcode technology and used scanners to do inventory. New changes were happening all the time. By 1988, annual video rental exceeded theatrical box office receipts, and in 1989, Blockbuster Video now had over 1,000 stores. But it was evident Nelson wasn't going to make it. Like so many companies in the 80s, they were getting gobbled up, and layoffs started happening. We sold our library to Orion, and I was one of the last employees left who spent my time training them in New York about our operations. We closed our office in 1989 completely, and I sadly remember that day. There was just 3 of us left. I'll never forget working for Embassy. It really was the greatest place I've ever worked. In 2012, there was even an Embassy reunion. People flew in from all over. Norman Lear was there, of course, hosting the event, as was Alan Horn and so many other people from the past. Thank you, Norman, and I can honestly say, those were the days.